back with another boxing conversations. Man, it's fight week, and I am already being called all types of slurs, all types of anti-Mexican, all types of anti-Latino, all that shit, man. That lets you know we're in Canelo's fight week. That lets when you start hearing the N word get thrown around and monkey and mayate and all that. If you hear that several times within a couple hours, just know that it is approaching a Canelo's fight, and Canelo's about to fight somebody of no. Man, I can't wait. Dude, this Saturday, it's going to be really telling. A lot of people going to be tuning into this fight. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight does about like 500 pay-per-views. 500K pay-per-view buys or whatever. But yeah, you see, I already got the haters. Effing haters. Hey, man, so be it. I don't even care. I don't even care no more. I even have black folks questioning me, but I don't even give a fuck no more because it's like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm rooting for who the hell I'm rooting for. Can I see Plant winning? Yeah. Can I see Canelo winning this fight? Yeah, most definitely. I can. But I'm going to speak on it. And I'm going to speak on the reason why I'm picking Caleb Plant to shock the fucking world, man. I cannot fucking wait, man. So let me be the first to say he is very beatable. Look, hey man, look, the reason why I named it that is because these fans are so in denial. They're on Twitter telling me this man can't, there's no way in hell he can be beat. They saying he's too fast, he's too powerful, he's just so much better. I'm like, bro, there's no way you can tell me, a logical man, that a man that was once beaten can't be whooped again. And then I got my dude saying he's gonna. I keep on getting these tweets, man, because people are really like upset right now, saying, "Oh, Art, man, you tripping." I said, "Man, rocking with Caleb for the dub for months. Only white fighters take a L and get praised as unbeatable. We watched this dude get beat up twice, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. Yeah, he officially lost to Mayweather, but we done seen him lose so many times to Lara, to Triple G. Had a tough fight with Trout. Nigga, even they said the Danny Jacobs fight was looking a little suspect as well. But hey, man, let these fans tell it. This guy is just so unbeatable. He's Mike. We just gonna start calling Canelo Alvarez Mike Tyson in 1989. Canelo 2001 to these fans is Mike Tyson 1989. He's just unbeatable. He's just too strong. His defense is just so impeccable. He's just so undeniably good, man. Let these motherfuckers tell it. But nah, we gonna cook up on my channel. We gonna keep it 100 on my channel because that's the only way we gonna do it, man. Said Canelo has lost a few times already, and they're saying that this man is unstoppable. Let me tell you why they're saying he's unstoppable. They're saying he's unstoppable. You know why? It's because he fought Yildirim, Caleb Smith, and Billy Joe Saunders. That's why he's just so unbeatable these days. But then when you start looking deep into the context of who these fighters are that he beat and who are these fighters when he beat them, they start calling you a hater. They start saying you hate Latinos. They start saying you hate Mexicans. You just hate everything. Yeah, let them tell. I just hate everybody. We know that's not the truth. And we know look, even Fulton Jr., a respected champion in the game, he ain't did nothing to nobody. He ain't hurt nobody. He ain't offended nobody race. He said he rocking with Caleb Plant. They called this man a monkey. They call him a monkey for picking Plant. So, you know, what can you expect from these Canelo fans, man? Seriously. For picking Plant. They call this man a motherfucking monkey for picking Caleb Plant, his countryman. Well, yeah, we cooking though. We gonna cook for show. We gonna cook for show. Yeah, we gonna cook for show. You said you don't like Latino woman. You don't like a big booty Latino woman. Shit, yeah, I smashed one. Not saying I'm a married one. Shit, y'all got some beautiful women, but that's not my cup of tea. I'm rolling with the sisters. Nothing against y'all. Said man, there's races in every race. Nah, 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 nah. Black people don't have. There's no word that black people created to describe Latinos. That's a derogatory term to describe Latinos. Never. So don't ever say that we close to that because we don't. We don't do that. We respect. Matter of fact, there's a lot of black people rooting for Canelo Alvarez. There's a lot of black people rooting for Canelo Alvarez to win. So shit, let's keep it 100. He said Canelo's gonna kill Plant. Hey man, believe it if you want. And I would love to. I want to understand why do y'all feel like Caleb Plant is just so much easy work to Canelo? Please tell me. Is it because he didn't fight Yildirim? Is it because Caleb Plant didn't fight fucking washed up Kovalev? Is it because Caleb Plant didn't beat up a fucking weight drain, unmotivated, undisciplined Cesar Chavez Jr.? Is that why you're saying Caleb Plant's gonna get whooped? Because if y'all want to talk about, because when it comes to Canelo, man, the main things his fans bring up is resume, 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 resume. Dude, your resume can't fight for you on Saturday. Your win over Yildirim is not going to be in the ring for you on Saturday, my nigga. And when you want to talk about resume, let's talk about the resume. Let's talk about the people on Canelo's resume that had excellent footwork that made Canelo look amateurish. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how a Euro guy like fucking Triple G was breaking Canelo down with a fucking jab and a right hand. Let's dissect that resume. Because if you want to talk about resume, I'm gonna pinpoint every fighter that Canelo fought and what attributes they had over Canelo and what attributes fucking Caleb Plant has over Canelo. Because y'all want to talk about resume, resume, resume. Shit. Well, motherfucker, Canelo's gonna look very beautiful on Caleb Plant resume on Saturday when he whoop his ass. But what's going on, brother D Hive?
What's up? I just think it's funny how they like to say that Caleb Plant ain't fought nobody. Caleb Plant's a bum. This and that. This and that. I'm like, okay, cool. How come when we say that about Canelo's last five opponents, y'all have issues? Because they all in the same boat. Because I ask people the same questions. I'd be like, okay, so between Smith, Saunders, Fielding, Yildirim, and Plant, since y'all want to talk about resume so much, who the fuck have they fought collectively? And can't nobody tell me nothing.
David
So I'm,
Lemieux.
oh right. Yeah, David Lemieux. And I'm like, okay, cool, bet. So how come resume is required for Canelo to be fighting certain people, but not other people? Oh, but they were undefeated champs. So were some other people I can name. Oh, but that's different. They need to go fight somebody. And now we're back in this fucking logical loop. And then when you talk about how Canelo could knock out Callum Smith, they're like, oh, his chin is fucking titanium. Based off of what? Who the
Based off of him not losing to John Ryder on the scoreboard.
right? And then it's funny because then they'll tell you, well, there ain't that much tape on Plant, but somehow all of a sudden all Canelo fans are Plant experts. That's
And
just
they just
crazy.
find it so unbelievable. You guys are rooting for Plant? Why? Why would you think a boxer with good foot movement and who can actually box really well has a chance of beating Canelo Alvarez?
I
They think we're
literally,
crazy, bro. They think
I,
we're
li-
we're crazy, bro.
I literally straight up said like people have only been rating Triple G's fucking foot movement now because they realize that they need somebody to rate Canelo up against. Like, oh, well, he's accomplished this, this, and that. I'm like, bro, Triple G has had no foot movement his entire career. Why? Because he hasn't fought a puncher. But y'all in the media got him thinking he's a fucking Terminator with a titanium chin. And I'm like, yeah, Deverenchenko seemed to have no problem wobbling that ass. I'll tell you that.
I tell you
So
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Brett
So
had to
they
save fucking Triple G when he fought Dervinchenko.
and it's crazy
But
because they be thinking that boxers don't pay attention to casuals. I'm like, bruh, that's all they pay attention to because those are the only fans that be really sucking their dick and can't analyze the sport objectively. I'm like, you think Canelo's starting to speak English and call people motherfucker and all that stuff? You don't think that's at the request of his casuals because he knows that kind of shit gets y'all wet? Him slapping people at weigh-ins, thinking he untouchable. Do you know that's from y'all? The crazy ass teenagers online that couldn't bust a grape. That's from y'all, and I know y'all like seeing that because y'all wish y'all could be like Canelo, but that's not the fucking reality. We've seen this man slapped up on multiple occasions, and keep in mind these are by people that barely moved.
Yep.
Like,
And then
look,
check
look.
this out. Check this out. People got upset. They got so upset and said, "How can you even come to this conclusion?" When I posted the picture of Canelo in the PJs next to the PJ, the private jet, and I said, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like Canelo being comfortable at the top might be his downfall in this fight. And they said, "Oh my God, how can you say such a thing? How can you say such a thing?" I mean, look what he's accustomed to. He's accustomed to fighting Eardrum level opponents, fucking Wash Kovalev, Caleb Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Billy Joe Quitter, and you're telling me, oh, those guys are gonna prepare him to fight an undefeated champion that fucking dealt with adversity in his life and knows the fucking goal? Y'all saying that's preparing him for playing? Man, don't be surprised if Canelo get knocked off that high horse, and then in Caleb Plant versus Canelo 2, they say, "Oh man, I wasn't as hungry as I used to be." Don't be surprised when y'all see that shit. Don't
You
be
know,
surprised if you see Canelo versus Plant 2 on a hoodie.
the fact
Shit.
one thing that got me that tells me that they're nervous for whatever reason, the fact that they're already trying to pin steroid allegations on Plant and
Plant.
the whole Conte gym. I'm like,
The
oh
Conte.
my
Victor
god.
Conte is a pet expert. The pet expert. Now y'all care about PEDs? Who gives
I'm
a
like,
fuck about PEDs? Battle of the best scientists, huh?
and you know what? Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Here's the truth.
Go ahead.
They are nervous. First of all, they're trying to put PEDs on Plant just because they're nervous. But also, my thing is they're afraid of a fair fight.
Yeah.
They don't want Plant to be on PEDs because it might actually be a fucking fair fight. I'm like, if I found out Plant popped for PEDs, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, oh, so it was 50-50 fight then.
So it's a
Okay.
50-50 fight though. And
Yeah.
Canelo fans have it in their mind, well, either Canelo's gonna knock him out or he's gonna just rob him on the scorecards.
Yeah.
That's the
And
type of mentality they have because they know it. It's not like planting some dude who can't box. Y'all know he can box.
yeah,
Don't say
they
he don't
just,
got power to put dudes down. Oh wait, let me mention Canelo has the fucking jaw of iron. There's no way he can get hurt. There's no way he can get hurt. Canelo is Mike Tyson of 1989. If you let them tell
right.
it.
Right. And like I said, I mean, we could say Triple G was a big puncher, but then again, Triple G was putting paws on him. So I mean, yeah, but they're rating Canelo's chin as uncrackable, and I'm like, okay, again, his one confirmed L came from someone with fragile hands, so that's not really something that is necessary. All that matters is if he's got the right people paid. Now, if he stops Plant, then that's the situation. That is what it is. You know,
Dude,
PED.
they're saying that only way that Plant can win is by knockout because they know that the judges rule in Canelo's favor,
I believe
bruh.
that shit too.
That's what they're saying, man. And they
I,
know it. They don't got no shame in their game. There's no
yeah,
shame in it. They're just
like
like, well, that's just boxing and the politics. Nah, motherfucker, that shit ain't right. And y'all gonna see. Caleb Plant, I'm pretty sure he has it in his mind that he has to go in there and completely outclass Canelo to where a point where even if they try to rob him, the public outcry will be so bad that Canelo will have no choice but to run it back.
oh please, they gonna watch the Plant gonna clinch one time. They gonna take a point for holding. Plant gonna accidentally tap him on. They gonna give him that. They gonna give him that Valpez treatment with like they did with Robson, and they robbed his ass clean. I guarantee he gonna get in there and do what everybody else do. They're gonna take a point for holding. They're gonna take a point for breathing. They're gonna say Canelo got a knockdown even though Plant clearly tripped. They're gonna do all kinds of shit. It's kind of like when they gave
Low blow, low blow Plant,
it's
all
kind of like
types of shit.
it's kind of like when they gave Jacobs a phony ass knockdown in the first. Triple G barely even hit him. He fucking tripped, but they gave him the knockdown to make sure Triple G could still get the fight. It's bullshit like that.
We cooking. I'm just reading off the shit on the pages here. Somebody said Canelo versus Kovalev is how Plant is gonna go.
So you think Plant got paid that good to do hit the stanky leg as soon as he get hit once? little winning the entire fight, and then at the very end, three punch Grace combination. Oh, stanky leg out. That's what y'all think? Oh shit. Oh man. Like I said, I have Canelo winning by clear decision robbery. I think it's going to be very obvious that he lost this fight like the last fucking two or three he was in, and then they're going to rob Plant, and then everyone's going to be like, nah, no one cares because Canelo P for P. I'm like, do you realize you got niggas putting Usyk pound for pound number one? Nobody gives a fuck about Canelo like that.
Hey,
No.
Beehive, you got your favorite supporter here in the chat. Do you see the messages?
Which I mean, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. Which dude?
He says Miguel Santana says D Hive never boxed a day in his life, and he is a puss.
Oh, okay, for sure.
For sure, right? And then he says Canelo's gonna go undisputed.
Great against who? I mean, people be shitting on Crawford, but at this point, Crawford's had a more difficult route to undisputed than fucking Canelo has. The
Exactly.
fuck?
Rick Deasy says, I can't believe Rick Glacier had Canelo up in that Kovalev fight. Because Rick Glacier's a fucking dick rider.
Yeah, seriously, he goes to wherever the casuals go to get paper. That's it.
He
He
said
feeds
Canelo
casuals.
thrives is off of white privilege. He
And
gonna get his white experience when he on Saturday. I'm telling you.
and you know
Man,
what's
I see a
crazy?
lot of good things in Plant Future if he takes home that victory. I see him on a brand new Wheaties box. Shit.
And and Mexican fans will disrespect other Mexican fighters that are putting in actual work in favor of Canelo. And I know it's because Canelo probably looks the whitest.
It is.
He's the
It
least
is, man. And
Mexican.
you know, I seen it in a little. I think it was for Canelo versus. It was one of his up and coming fights, and they were explaining how what his condition or whatever his complexion was once perceived as a weakness is now considered a marketing tool in America.
Hell
And
yeah.
bro, it's nigga. You didn't have to say complexion for me to tell exactly what the hell they're talking about.
And
They
then you
know
got
what's up,
dudes
man.
and then you got
And
dudes
like
on
I said, I
Twitter.
like Canelo. I do. But people are gonna say, oh, because you give him fair criticism that you're just anti-Latino, you're anti-Canelo. Well, in this fight, if you want to believe that, go ahead, believe it. Because that's not me, but you can believe that if you want. I'm gonna show you that, or Caleb Plant is gonna show you. There's a reason why Canelo picked him last. Because remember, Canelo could have fought Plant a long time ago.
Yep. Been waiting.
But there's a reason y'all gonna see why he chose to fight him last because he knows this is the toughest fight. He know it is. Let Canelo don't, bro. When them cameras is off, Canelo is talking to Reynoso about, yeah, man, this guy is skilled. How the fuck we gonna? What are we gonna do to beat? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do to beat him? How are we gonna stop him from moving around the ring? Can I mention one thing? When Canelo and Plant had that dispute of why the fight wasn't made, do you know the size of the ring was one of the issues? And wait,
R-
let Canelo fans tell it this guy the best man on the earth. So why in the world does he care about how big or how small the ring is gonna be? Oh, maybe he knows that Caleb Plant has an advantage over him that he doesn't have. Hmm.
and wasn't this the same issue with Billy Joel never fought anybody in his life, Saunders? And he actually let him have the ring size that he wanted, but Caleb Plant can't get the ring size. That should tell you that Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant are two different fucking people.
Two
Saunders can
different people, but let these fans tell it. Well, Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders are the same. Nigga, my nigga ain't quitting on, bro. He not quitting on a stool like your boy. Fuck out
bruh.
of here.
Let me just say this. Andre Berto went 12 with Robert Guerrero with both his eyes fucking shut. You telling me and Andre Berto got more heart than Sanders? Come on, bro. That man quit because the check was already confirmed. He's like, all right, I made it look good for a few rounds. Now let me go ahead and bend over five fucking times so you can catch me with that bullshit and I can just be out. Talking about, oh, I can't because my eyes closed. I'm like, bro, again, fucking Josh Taylor, who I think he lost to a pro grade. Josh Taylor competed with one eye shut for like three straight rounds. You telling me you couldn't go no extra? Fuck out of here, bro. The check was already in, so you were like, no point in this bullshit no more. I don't need to go 12 for what?
Mm. And my dude Eric Gomes says the ring size was given to Billy. Yeah,
Exactly.
it was given to him. It was given to him. But why would a guy that's as fucking as monstrous and fearless as Canelo in 2021, why would he want any type of changes of the ring when he can easily go in there and just knock everybody out like everybody claims that he's able to do now?
Yeah, because they know his tubby, juiced up ass at 168 can't be cutting off the damn ring like that. He was struggling with Billy Joe Saunders until they telegraphed that bullshit.
Canelo, look, and people say we hate Canelo. I actually study Canelo. I don't know if y'all see me hit the body, the bag or whatever, but I like throwing punches like Canelo, like the body work and all that shit. I study it. One thing I do notice is that the guy doesn't have good footwork, good foot movement, good footwork. He don't. Let's be real. There's a reason why Canelo was wearing knee braces in a couple of those fights, man. Do we have to go there?
Yeah, no, Canelo has never had the makings of a varsity track star, that's for sure. He usually thrives about people putting up the bunny ears and curling up right in front of him. If you don't do
Right
that,
in front of him. And then somebody made the funniest post today. He said, Canelo fans are mad at Tank for fighting Isaac Cruz. They said Isaac Cruz is a Mexican style fighter, is just gonna stand right in front of him. And somebody
ain't,
said, I know Canelo fans ain't saying that shit
ain't
because
that a
everybody
bitch?
that Canelo fights stands right in front of him. It's like they're tailor made to fight the guy.
And it's crazy because Isaac Cruz, if I'm not mistaken, is number three ranked in the IBF, which is a step above Rolly. And again, everyone just called this dude the Mexican Mike Tyson, and you even had a post saying someone literally saying
I even had the
Tank
screenshot of that shit. So it's like,
Tank and Cruz will
ooh.
be solid. But it's okay because once Tank sleeps this dude, and the victory's gonna age well because he's gonna go to fight some actual people. So the is much like Pedraza because Tank smoked Pedraza. That victory aged like fucking wine. He gave fucking Lomachenko panda eyes, and he had to go 12. So yeah, this is gonna be a different sort of situation. It's gonna be the same with Cruz. He's gonna lean him, and then he's gonna go on to beat some of some people y'all had highly ranked over him, and then it's gonna be like, oh well, it's different when somebody else beat him. It's different now. Like, fuck out of here.
My dude Tony Montgomery said Canelo with them fucking weak ass knees. Let's fucking go there. Let's go there. Hold on, man. Canelo with them knees. Let's be real. I think it was around after the Triple G fight, the second fight. He ends up getting surgery on his knee, and they say it's like a cyst removal on his knee. But then ever since
Yeah.
then, you notice that he hasn't been, you know, on his bicycle. You notice that all his opponents lately have been come forward, fucking high guard fighters. You notice that? You notice that? Because I
Hon-
noticed that.
I noticed, honestly, I noticed that, but I didn't even know that it was a cyst removal situation. I thought it was just some standard run of the mill wear and tear, but there's actually some surgery involved. I had no idea about the damn surgery. Wow. That's fucking crazy. I had no fucking idea. Oh, okay. But like you already said, he eventually he caved with Billy Joe Saunders. But has he done that for Plant? Has the ring size been confirmed, or they still bullshitting over it?
I think the ring size been confirmed already because they had to. I think Canelo had to put that in the contract.
Right, ring
Strange.
size can't be no more than da 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 because I don't want to be running track.
They be like, oh no, ain't no way, man. Canelo's just they just say they talking out their ass, man. There's no way that you can tell me that a man's been beat, who's been beaten, is unbeatable. I don't understand that shit.
And
And
you
they
know
tell
what's
me I'm a
crazy?
hater for questioning that logic.
But you know what's crazy? I saw some shit today. I watch a lot of tape on Usyk, and whenever he's facing big punchers, you notice Usyk only goes in one direction for the most part, which is fucking backwards. Now he showed some heart against AJ and got in his chest, and that was great. But if you look at his cruiserweight run, he's mostly on his fucking bicycle. And then if they want to talk about hugging, if you watch Josh Taylor actually fight, aside of I think Baranchik, the man pretty much hugs his way to undisputed because if you box him on the outside, he's pretty much fucking losing. With Jose Ramirez, they were even criticizing Bayless about breaking up the clinches, and I'm like,
Breaking up the clinch and all that shit.
what you talking about? Him breaking up the clinches fucking helps Ramirez. Taylor can't get no work done unless he's holding. So again, it's just all this bullshit. Oh, Haney hugs, fucking Mayweather's a runner, da 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 da. But you lighten up the skin tone a little bit, and all of a sudden that's expert boxing.
Said Canelo will go undefeated for the rest of his career. He didn't even go undefeated after fucking fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Right, and people stop saying that he's the greatest of this generation. We watched him lose multiple times in this generation. What the fuck are you talking about? Like Mayweather's not dead. Like we watched that happen. That shit was less than a decade ago. Stop it. Oh, he was 22. He's so
He was
young.
so young. He was so
But
young. Well, if you guys comparing him to Mike Tyson in 1989, shit, go peep how old Mike Tyson was around that time.
but they want to throw Ortiz Jr. on Crawford though. Isn't
Yeah,
he too young? Isn't he too young? When he get his ass beat, what you gonna say? He was too young, challenging for greatness.
exactly. You know what it is, man. You know what it is, and here's the thing: they say Canelo, he always learned so much from fighting Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he got an A for credit. You want to know? Y'all want to know what Canelo learned in that battle? He learned to stay away from undefeated, skillful American fighters. That's what the fuck he learned. And you go look at it. Go look at it. Go look at Canelo resume, and go see who did he fight after that. Go see who he fought down the line. Any of those guys had footwork like Mayweather? Any of those guys had timing like Mayweather? Speed? Or not saying that they had to have exactly like Mayweather. Do they look anywhere close to that? Or have they been European guys that fights in they stand right in front of you in their high guard?
Two things though. Two things. Number one, I have to remind people: Daniel Jacobs had literal fucking spinal cancer. He got one punch knocked out by a random dude named Pirog, and he had literal spinal cancer. And Canelo could not even fucking hurt him. So let's get that out the way. Number
Couldn't even
two,
hurt him. And then here's the thing. I think Billy Joe, Danny Jacobs and Caleb Plant, aren't they around the same height and size?
damn near, and Jacobs is significantly slower. But number two, real quick,
And he couldn't hurt him. He
but
couldn't
but
knock him out.
but number two, real quick, people keep saying that Andre and Saunders are basically the same fighter. Okay, great. Why the fuck isn't Canelo undisputed at 160 then? Shouldn't it be some easy ass work? You see what he did to Billy Joe Saunders? They're like Andre would have got that same treatment. So why isn't he about to be undisputed in two divisions instead of one? You telling me because of a motherfucking resume? While Triple G was fighting Charlo and Andre leftovers? Bro, get him out of here. Get him out of here. They have not been watching boxing that long. Just get him
Man,
out. Get him out of
there's
here.
fools still texting me right now and telling me that fucking Billy Joe. If Canelo beat Billy Joe Saunders, that means he can beat Plant. Fuck out of here, man. That shit pisses me off because it's like, bro, do you guys even know Billy Joe Saunders? I feel like they don't even really know Billy Joe Saunders. They just like throwing that name out there because it's been attached to Canelo's name since fucking 2016.
Right. The dude who was supposed to lose to Andre, but all of a sudden he popped for PEDs and never rescheduled the fight. All right. Okay.
Said, yo, I just bet 50 at plus 3,000 for Plant to win by decision or technical decision. I might win $1,500. Yeah, I'm putting money on it too.
Yeah, I'm putting some
I'm
bread
putting
on it
money on
too.
it too.
Those odds are retarded. Like those odds don't make no sense. Oh
Hey
my
man,
god.
maybe the fucking people in the odds makers, maybe they was fucking listening to the casuals and believe the hype too.
That's what I'm thinking. And people, man, people finna lose their ass if this fight go left and Canelo don't win. People gonna lose their ass. No one is undisputed at 160. So yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, look, let me just say this real quick. So this man fought Smith, Fielding, Yildirim, Saunders, and he gonna fight Plant. Instead of those fucking six names, if he had literally fought Charlo, Andre, Benavidez, Bivol, and Beterbiev, he'd be undisputed in goddamn near three divisions instead of fucking one. You telling me he passed up all that he passed up all that actual greatness because of niggas' resumes? Man, shut the fuck up and sit down somewhere. And now y'all already talking about 2022 better be on his fucking 38th birthday or some shit. Nah, fight Benavidez next. Y'all want to pawn off Andrade, who's a champion at 160, to fucking Benavidez because you think he's gonna do something? No, 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 no. First, it's Charlo and Andrade need to fight each other to earn Canelo, but then y'all don't want to mention Canelo and Benavidez in the same breath. No, no, no. If the black people need to fight each other, the Mexicans should be fighting each other too. After this is over, give Benavidez his Canelo fight. He's
Eh,
earned it, hasn't he?
I'm hearing now they trying to copy us. They say, well, Javante Davis ain't fighting nobody black. Why he got to fight somebody black? How come he can't do the same thing Canelo doing? How come he can't just say I ain't fighting nobody from America and that's black from the hood?
Right. Thank
If
you.
you was raised on Section 8 like me, I don't want to fight you. Can he say shit like that? Hell no. He'll
And
get
then
criticized. But Canelo can openly say, I never want to fight Mexicans ever again. And you seen that post I did when somebody tried to make me look like a fool because I said boxing is about race, nationality, and pride.
right.
You seen that post?
Yeah, I saw it. And what's crazy is these same people are crying about Tank's replacement. Benavidez fighting Kyron Davis. Nigga, who?
Who
Who
just
the
fought, who
fuck?
just had a tough ass fight against a nobody like a
And
couple weeks
lost.
ago.
And lost, in my opinion, to be quite honest. And then meanwhile, of course, we got Precious Mungia, who has silently been allowed to do absolutely nothing in his 37 fucking fights. And now
And
they
nobody
say,
calling him out.
oh,
The
and now they
motherfucking
say,
name been popping since the fucking HBO boxing days, bro.
they were saying this man could beat Jermel and Jamal Charlo. They were literally saying this man could beat them both. And now for his 37th fight, this nigga, they claiming he's stepping up to a dude with 13 losses because that same dude got a knockout over a child with 6 losses. Bro, get away from me. Get these people the fuck away from me. None of this shit don't add up. 2 plus 2 equals fucking fish in this bitch.
Man, I hate to be the fans on your page after this fight.
I don't give a fuck, man. I have no following and they be riding my ass like I'm somebody. Like, I'm just speaking the damn truth and it's bugging the shit
You
out
know
of me.
you
How
getting
the,
you getting on this show with Art, man. You gonna become public enemy now.
I might have to convert into a real boxing page just to pass the fucking time. Bruh, like these people, I swear they say anything and change in there. Like literally in one sentence, it's "will plant's a bum," and I'm like, okay, great. So Canelo fights bums. No, 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 he's chasing greatness. Well, no, it can't be the same thing. Well, Plant's got skills, but he ain't fighting nobody. Okay, but I thought a resume was required to fight Canelo. Well, he's an undefeated champion. So are Andrade, Charlo, and fucking Benavidez was.
You
Well,
see, when you get them in that when you get them in that loop, there's nothing they can do about it.
literally, and my thing is, look, just come out and say I'm supporting Canelo no matter what because him being Mexican makes me feel good. Okay, great. At least we can start have an honest conversation. Don't try to bullshit it and make it seem logical because it's not. You're gonna get fucked up every single time trying to make logic out of this shit. And then you got motherfuckers still whining about fucking Mayweather versus Castillo and shit. I'm like, man, if y'all don't sit y'all salty ass down about that shit, the nigga lost. Okay, he lost. They all lost, and that's why y'all didn't start watching boxing until after Mayweather versus fucking McGregor because you were tired of Mayweather just slapping the shit out of all y'all's favorites. And that's why y'all got to get off on Benavidez beating black nobodies because that's what he does. I mean, what Darrell who got stopped on a cut, Jalen Love who absolutely nobody fucking rated, and now Kyron damn Davis who fucking lost his last fight. Bro, get these people the fuck away from me, dog. Like it's just absolute fucking craziness. And keep in mind,
Here they are posting Victor Conte and saying, "Oh, Victor Conte, he's the pet scientist, and look who Pletz with snack. Look at all those people in snack."
and then they're trying to get Haney on some slick shit. But a lot of these people when they say I'm not really a Canelo fan, I'm like, I know I believe you. It's just the likes and social media traffic you get from repeating bullshit is so much that you just want to do it. Like people openly admit I don't really like him. I just say what I say. I'm like,
I
yeah,
mean,
you said
everybody says that he's good, so I mean,
yeah,
I
like
seen the highlights of him knocking out Amir Khan fucking damn near 8 years ago.
or James Kirkland, of course. So that means he's a fucking Terminator. He did the
Hey, you
same.
seen that shit I got mad? They got mad at when I said, damn, look at Canelo's stacked resume fighting post prison Kirkland."
Bro, they got highlights of him today versus on Showtime and PBC of him fighting fucking Josecito Lopez after 4 losses to nobody. Bro, like the bum slang is so fucking obvious. Even his highlights are trash. Josecito Lopez, Riverside Rocky. They call him Riverside Rocky because he's known for getting his ass beat and taking it. Kind of like they're comparing Gabe Rosado to Rocky. He's someone that goes in there to get his ass whooped, and he fucking looks good doing it so they can hype up somebody saying they beat up a warrior.
It was a war, man.
Yeah, it was a war. Two dudes with no skill slapping each other.
Man, I love it. You see the Canelo fans, they're in here, man. They're in here.
And you know what's crazy? These are the same people, because like I said, I lived in Southern California for 25 fucking years. These are the same people in public. They are so nice. They are the sweetest, nicest people you ever want to meet. On the internet is the only place they get a voice. And now that I live in a state where I can carry a fucking gun in public, oh, you best believe the respect is on 10. These same people are just so super nice. But on the internet, they turn into some other shit. It's absolute craziness.
They called the fucking champ Fulton Jr. a monkey, all because he rooted for Plant to win, his countryman.
Literally, and because he beat the shit out of a Mexican dude who was also throwing lots of low blows, but he managed to win his fight, unlike Lomachenko. Just saying. I literally call that dude low blow Leo.
Miguel Santana, he said, D Hive, you not doing nothing in person.
Okay. Okay, for sure. Again, he's bitching at me about not showing my face. He not showing his. Make it make sense.
Say he hides in his mom's basement. Hey man, these guys, hey, I don't know why they don't like you, D Hive.
Literally, I ain't done shit but talk, and for some reason, I'm getting more hate than you on your own channel. What the fuck is that?
It's because man, they don't like what you're saying, man. You cutting too deep.
That shit
Um,
don't make no sense. And people be like, "Oh, I don't like Canelo personally." I've never met him. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm just talking about boxing, and his fans suck ass. Like Fury himself, I've never met him in my life. Does he seem like a scumbag for being a fucking cokehead PD cheat? Sure, but I've never met him in my life. His goofy ass fans that don't watch boxing and couldn't bust a grape, those are the people I don't like. The people that have been watching boxing only for the last 4 years because they're trying to like push all the black people to the side. The most of them being children, because that's the thing I hate the most. Most of these people are kids.
how do you feel about being called a monkey for rooting for Plant?
Oh, I think nothing of it because again, any average monkey will absolutely murder a Chihuahua. So honestly, it's this is why the Taco Bell dog is a damn Chihuahua because they couldn't make the Taco Bell mascot anything tough because all they do is talk shit and call other people's monkeys. When in real life, a regular monkey will fuck up a standard human being. Like I guarantee you, anybody calling a boxing fan a monkey over a pick, you put them in front of a real monkey, they'll 9 times out of 10 lose that fucking fight.
Mm.
So I really don't think anything of it. Because if we take away the police, take away guns, take away all that good shit, and put a regular ass person who calls someone a monkey over boxing in front of a live monkey and tape a banana to his fucking forehead, I guarantee he probably won't walk out of there.
Said bet on Plant guys for real. Even $10 get you 130 if Plant wins because that's why they paying Canelo so much. Yeah, man. Hey, man. Hey. I see what you're doing, Scott. I see what you're doing. You know,
The
I was
odds are
thinking the
crazy.
same. I was thinking the
I have
same.
to.
I was thinking the same because those odds are just like wow. Like
The
what
odds
is
are insane. Even Mayweather probably finna rob the fucking bookie on this bullshit. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Mayweather not speaking on this fight? But I guarantee he rooting for Plant. I guarantee
probably.
he is.
Yeah, he's a money man. The way these odds look, the odds are fucking insanity. And it's funny too. I remember Champside pointed this out today. He was like, you know, Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter sure didn't say shit about Ennis.
Oh, Sean Porter just said something about him recently.
Oh, what did he
He
say?
said
He was
he
like,
basically said he's too much and he's ready to fight the top guys now.
oh shit.
But that don't mean he gonna fight them niggas.
Well, Sean Porter already came out publicly and said he will not be fighting Boots Ennis like at all. So that's
And
whatever.
I feel I understand his stance on that.
Yeah, shit. You about to basically damn near retire. Like I wouldn't want to see Ennis either. That is. And then people talk about Keith Thurman. I'm like, bro, Keith Thurman wants a bag for fucking a fight that he's favored to win in, or Errol Spence. That's pretty much it. He ain't getting ready to sacrifice himself for fucking Boots' career. I mean, I know that I wish he would sacrifice himself at the altar for Boots' career, but he ain't finna go out like that. And personally, me personally, I don't give a fuck about Keith one time a year Thurman, but I don't know if I want to see him go out like that either, because I feel like he's gonna get broke off bad.
Man, these people they going at it with each other in the comment section already. Um, saying things like, "Man, I don't even want to repeat that shit. Y'all got some other shit going on. Y'all about to turn this into gang wars and shit. The real Mexicans live over here. I mean, goddamn, there's Mexicans everywhere, right?
The real Mexican fans are the ones in the time of De La Hoya when he had some sense, and everyone before that. Because I remember it was seems like just yesterday we'd all watch boxing together. Like for example, when Timothy Bradley fought Manuel Marquez, there wasn't that much racism out there like this. Maybe it's because social media wasn't as big as it was, but people weren't calling nobody no monkey for picking Tim Bradley and all that bullshit.
I
Again, it
mean, I
don't.
heard they was.
You heard they were.
Yeah, I definitely did. I heard that they were, and that's why one of the reasons why the LDBC and stuff was created. Um, but yeah, man, Canelo Plant is this weekend. I just get so frustrated when Canelo fans say the man is just clearly unbeatable, as if you see. I could see if Canelo fought Andre Charlo Benavidez back to back or some shit, or just within the last 4 years and beat
Shit.
them.
Then I would say he's
Then I would
unbeatable if
say,
he did
"Oh
that shit.
shit, yeah, this guy's unbeatable." But to fight Yildirim, and then people are like, "Oh, well, look how many people he just fought, bro." He fought garbage can motherfuckers within like 8 months apart, whatever. Not apart, but just within 8 months. And you expect us to say, "Oh man, that's this guy's the next best thing since Floyd Mayweather"?
My
Hell
thing
no,
is
man. Because I don't rate fucking Kovalev. That version of Kovalev, I don't rate him high.
trash.
Motherfucking Billy Joe Saunders, I've never rated him high. You know
Fought
why?
nobody.
Because I actually sat there and watched Billy Joe Saunders fights. And I said, man, what the fuck? Ever since he got popped dirty for that nasal spray, he has yet to look like the way he looked in that David Lemieux fight.
Bruh, nasal spray or not, the man has fought nobody to be rated up against. He's in the same category as Better Be It for me right now. He's fought nobody to be up against. If Better Be It fuck around and take Brown out, okay, I'll finally give him some credit and rate him. But Better Be It has literally fought no like dude, the standard for greatness when you're not black is nothing. You can literally breathe. Like oh my god, I saw some shit today where Alexander Usyk is contemplating going to Bridgerweight. Everybody is now validating the existence of Bridgerweight. When they thought that class was for fucking Wilder to dominate, Bridgerweight was some trash. Now that Alexander Usyk might pick up some more belts down there from Oscar Rivas' slow, heavy punching ass, all of a sudden, oh, Bridgerweight is exactly what boxing needs. I'm like, are you people fucking serious? And keep in mind, Oscar Rivas is my nigga. He's from Colombia. I like him a lot. But guess what? He's Usyk's favorite fucking target. A big, heavy, slow puncher.
Mm.
That's it. This nigga lost to Dillian White.
So what do you think about when I said Canelo is, in the PJs, flying the PJ, and he's not motivated because I'm hearing people say, "Oh, he's in the gym 24/7."
I thought it was pretty funny, but I think Canelo knows what we know. Like, hey, as long as I don't get knocked out, this shit is done. I paid the right people. I done all the right shit. I done all the right training. God knows Caleb Plant can't punch. I got a fucking iron chin. I'm gonna be wired on all kinds of chemicals. I'm straight. I'm just living my best life. I'll fucking take a nap, do all this shit. You saw how calm he was during the Yildirim fight. He was in there in the back sleep. Like he was on complete chill mode because it's like this shit is over with. There's no competition for real.
And
This
then
shit is
okay,
done.
and then okay, so check this out. I got people that I'm cool with saying things like, "Oh, Art Man is just using this as a marketing tactic. He's just trying to get people riled up for views and all this shit." It's like, bro, I've been feeling this way for a long time, and
But
y'all been
even
seeing bro. I always before this fight was even announced. I've been saying this the same shit I'm saying now. I've been saying that shit about Canelo a while ago, and yeah, I still like Canelo, but for me to ignore the flaws for me to ignore the drug cheating will be an insult to the sport of boxing. Because what you guys like to say, oh, you can't be a man fan, you got to be a fan of the sport. And I'm a fan of the sport. And I understand what I'm seeing. Yeah, Canelo has a great chance of beating Caleb Plant. I know that. Is he unbeatable? No. Can Plant win this fight? Yeah. He's not like the rest of these guys who signed the contract just to go lay down. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all
But
know
my
there's a
thing,
big difference between this fight and a Yildirim fight or Billy Joe Saunders fight or a washed up Kolev fight. Y'all understand why he took this fight last. Stop thinking that everybody that Canelo fights, he can just go in there and wash them, bro. Because if that's the case, he would have washed Charlo and washed Benavidez and washed Plant a long fucking time ago.
but my thing is that makes boxing boring. You enjoy your favorite fighter not being in no fucking 50-50s?
And no challenge. No
That shit
challenge.
that shit is fucking trash, and it's just craziness. Like they get legitimately offended when they say someone when you say, oh, Canelo's finally fighting someone that's not a bum. What are you talking about? They are a bum. They stand no chance. I'm like, damn, you want this nigga to be beating up people that work at Walmart? I'm like, bro. So if I say right now, oh, I just got an email from Team Canelo, I got the fight. Like y'all gonna be excited? Like, like, bruh. I mean, granted, y'all don't know who I am for real, which is fine, but I'm just like, y'all really be excited about that? Him beating up some fucking regular dude that just, just a regular gym dude? A little bit of sparring here or there, sporadically throughout the years. Y'all want him to beat up that? Damn, that shit makes boxing boring, dog. And then y'all be talking about, oh, no good fights get made, but y'all over here cheering over fucking Yildirim and Callum and Liam and them. What the fuck I be talking about, dog?
Shout out to my dude Dave. He said, you can't speak logic to these man fans. You really can't. You really
No.
can't. Because when you start talking about, man, Canelo's footwork ain't the best. What? What? Did you not see him fight Chavez Jr.?
And keep in mind, Chavez Jr., the second biggest quitter in all of boxing, the first being Queen Lion Garcia, nigga went all 12.
Hey, and you know my dude Rick Deasy, he says he might fight Charlo now since he didn't look so good against Montiel. And you know
Oh,
what I
hell yeah.
said? I said I wouldn't be surprised if they had performances like that on purpose so they can get a Canelo fucking fight.
Damn. Like 2 years ago, I actually recommended that for Charlo and Andre. I was like, y'all gotta look like shit and almost get stopped in one of y'all fights and then fuck around and like remember how in Fresh Prince of Bel Air when Uncle Phil had played those fools, making them think he couldn't play no pool? You gotta pull some shit like that. You gotta nearly get stopped in one of your fights and come back and win that shit. And then Canelo be like, all right. But I honestly anticipated that if Canelo lost this one, he would go ahead and fight Charlo because you got to come back from something. You got to look good against somebody. If you go and fight fucking I don't know Zach Parker or some crazy or fucking Ted Cheeseman, it's gonna look like you was ducking. So you got to come back. All the niggas they say you avoid, you got to come back, try to whoop their ass, and then because if you lose, they can say, oh, well, you weren't the same psychological da 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 da. But then if you win, you can be like, oh, see, he was never ducking. Plant's ass is toast on the rematch on the
Who
rebound.
has Canelo fought and beat that Caleb Plant can't fight and beat? That's super middleweight.
Oh, at super middle, Plant smokes all those people. Like I said, the only real threat at 168 right now for everybody is David Morrell Jr. I think David Morrell. I said it here first. David Morrell Jr. beats everybody at 168 right now, Plant included. But Canelo's resume at 168, Plant beats all those fucking people like with ease.
Say, yo, they really don't care. They know the truth, but they just don't care about the truth. And I'm starting to see that.
And then it's funny because all of a sudden Callum Smith comes back and gets some fucking vicious KO against a dude they've never heard of that went 12 with Bivol and lost every round. They're like, oh, see, he's a vicious puncher. You see what he's doing? Canelo's win aging like fine wine. I'm like, so because he iced a nobody, all of a sudden he looks like a fucking serial killer.
Not
This
not just a nobody. Caleb Plant, I mean not Caleb, but Caleb Smith is somebody who throws the most jabs in super middleweight, but didn't throw a punt any jabs against Canelo, man. And
not
then I'm hearing
one.
things that did you hear that Caleb Smith took that fight on 2 to 3 weeks notice?
He took it on. He said it publicly. He took it on 4 weeks' notice. He said he had no idea he was getting the fight, and then he was like, "Well, shit, I can't pass up this bread because I got bills to pay and women to impress and shit like that. So let me go ahead and take it." But
I'm telling you that right
again,
now, I wouldn't pass it up either.
real talk, like I said, me as regular ass me would hop in the ring with Canelo for a hell of a lot less than he breaking niggas off.
Nigga, I hop in that ring with Canelo for 200,000, nigga.
Real talk, like right today,
Shit.
and then I'll do just like Kovalev, get hit one time.
And you see the mentality that we have? Them weak ass niggas Canelo's fighting have that same mentality.
Yeah,
You
but
telling me I just gotta show up?
what's crazy is that they think they like we'll fight him for nothing, but then they saying that other people that have a legitimate chance of beating him for 10 million or whatever dollars is ducking. It makes no fucking sense. Makes less than no damn sense.
Nigga, after the fight with Yildirim and Canelo, Yildirim gave Canelo a hug and thanked him. The fuck
Because
does that tell you?
it
Because
tells
you
me
know what that tells me? That was a
your
motherfucking money grab.
well, it tells me even Yildirim knew that he didn't deserve to be there.
That's true.
That's what that tells me. They always talk about you gotta earn this, you gotta earn that. Even Yildirim knew he didn't deserve to fucking be there. And like I said, the Yildirim slot should have been reserved for Benavidez, but it wasn't. And the fact that like people are already trying to make this man's 2022 schedule. The fact that no one is saying Canelo versus Benavidez, that should tell you everything they need to know. They talking about Andrade versus fucking Benavidez for what? When it comes to Canelo, oh, Benavidez too stupid to keep a fucking belt. When it comes to Andrade, oh, Andrade needs to go up and prove himself. I'm like, prove himself to who? Canelo has
Hey, hey,
Canelo
brother
has
Beehive,
already said,
brother
yeah.
Beehive. So I got my brother Ari Boxing. He wants to join in on the chat and chop it up about this whole Canelo thing because he is a Canelo fan. But let's go ahead and introduce the brother.
What's up, Barman?
What's going on, bro?
What's happening?
Shit,
Oh,
we talking about this is Canelo unbeatable topic, and does Plant really have a chance on Saturday?
Of
I
course
think
he
you heard
does.
our opinions, but the people want to know, how do you feel about that?
No, of
First
course he
off,
has
you
a
think
chance.
Canelo's unbeatable?
No, 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 no man, no fighter's unbeatable. There's no such thing. I mean, obviously, I'm not even gonna bring up Mayweather, but no, he's not unbeatable. I think Plant definitely has a chance. I think Plant is a very good fighter overall. He's much taller, very good hand speed, very good footwork. He could box his ass off. Canelo knows this, and Canelo's taking him very serious. Um, I just think that it's gonna be a fight that's gonna come down to the second half of the fight. I feel that Plant will probably make it very interested in the first half of the round, in the first half of the fight. Um, but I think as the fight progresses, you know, I favor Canelo in the second half of the fight.
Is that by stoppage? Is that what you're telling me? Stoppage or
No, no, I
just
don't. I don't know. We gotta see. I don't know. To be honest, I feel that, like I said, listen, Plant is a dog. I know he could fight. Um, I think that in the first half of the fight, Plant's gonna box. He's gonna move. Canelo's gonna come forward and go to the body, try to get him to slow down. And I think that Canelo will win in the second half of the fight. Um, I don't know if it'll be by stoppage, or I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to go to decision, but it's going to be a good fight.
do you think Canelo can outbox Caleb Plant, bro? Let's be real, because a lot of people are leaning towards the power thing of Canelo knocking Caleb Plant out. Do you honestly believe that he has better skills than Caleb Plant and more athleticism than Caleb
But
Plant?
you got to understand, athleticism. No, I feel like I think Plant is more athletic. But what you got to understand is Canelo's boxing abilities are elite as well. You
Yeah,
know,
when it comes to
we've seen Canelo.
when it
We've
comes to
seen
upper
Canelo.
body movement, not leg movement,
Correct, correct. So that's what I'm saying.
and
Yes.
fighting in the inside, not fighting on the outside. Canelo
Oh,
has a great inside game. But what
Correct.
happens if you take away the inside, and you fight them on the outside and use lateral movement and create a situation where the much shorter fighter can't touch you? Then what
Which is
happens?
why, this fight is going to be very good because, like I said, in the first half of the fight, those are Plant's going to do. Plant's going to use his legs. He's going to move. He's going to box. That's what he's going to do the first half of the fight. Now it's up to Canelo to be able to cut off the ring, go to the body, slow Plant down to force him to
Try to
not move
exchange.
in the second, in the second half of the fight. That's Canelo's fight. You know what I'm saying? So, but even with Plant's, advantage in speed, and not so much in speed, but he does have really fast hands, and he has the reach and the feet movement. Canelo could still make him miss and make him pay, because I've seen Canelo miss. People would jab, he'll make a miss, and he'll throw his own jab and tag him. So it's going to be a very good fight. In my opinion, Plant is going to have to steal as many rounds as possible in that first half of the fight to have an opportunity to win the fight.
The reason why
So
people are
there's
banking
two
on
good
Canelo
comments
by
I'm looking at right
stoppage.
now. My dude David Thomas says good lateral movement and length are trouble for Canelo, and speed and skill too. It's going to be a close bout. That's what the brother David Thomas says.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a very good fight. I feel the notion that, listen, the notion that Canelo is gonna go in there and blow out Caleb Plant, that's nonsense. Like I said, it's gonna be a very good fight. It's gonna be a very good fight, and it's gonna come down to the second half of the fight. That's what's gonna decide who's gonna win that fight. Like I said, I feel like Plant needs to, win as many rounds as possible in the first half of the fight, because we know that the second half of the fight, Canelo is going to come, and he's going to, what I'm saying? Like, the thing with Plant, we've seen Plant fight on one gear. We haven't seen that extra gear yet. So we're going to find out
Yeah,
if he has it in
and
him.
what a
If he
hell of
has
a way
it
to
in him,
find out on
that's what I'm saying.
Saturday.
We're going to find out if he has that second gear that's going to, elevate him to that level to get the win over Canelo. But in my opinion, I favor Canelo to win the fight.
Let's go to my dude 88 Sports Talk. He said Canelo only choosing Plant because Plant doesn't have the experience like he does. Plant style will give him fits, but Canelo is banking on the experience to pull through. And I feel like that's true. I honestly feel like Canelo is banking on Plant tiring out.
The
Well,
reason why a lot of people are picking him
Listen,
by stoppage is because they don't. The truth is, the reason why a lot of people are picking Canelo by stoppage is because the honest to God truth is that they don't see Canelo legitimately winning any other fucking way. That's just the fact. They're picking Canelo by
Because
stoppage.
look who he was getting outboxed by before he stepped in the ring with Caleb Plant. He was getting outboxed by Amir Khan, etc.
yes, he was. Yes, he was getting outboxed. He was getting outboxed by Amir Khan. I do agree with that. But Caleb Plant doesn't have the hand speed that Amir Khan had at that stage of their career. And the people that have given Canelo trouble is, okay, Mayweather, who's a great boxer, could freaking box his ass off and can move really well. Lara was another person that gave Canelo a lot of problems because he had great footwork and he was quick on his feet, quick hands, and he could box. Those guys, yes, they do give Canelo problems. And Plant fits that description. The only difference is that we have to find out, can Plant keep that up for 12 rounds?
Yep, because he
Because
has a
if he
because of
doesn't,
David Thomas. My bad for cutting you off, but I think because of David Thomas' comment right there, Plant has an amazing conditioning, and he has conditioning coach who's the same as Porter's. He has a great conditioning coach, man. The same one that helped Luis Ortiz in the second Wilder fight, and the same one that helped Porter in several fights. I
I
honestly believe,
understand that.
yeah, that's Coach Larry Wade. He's a good
I,
coach, man. I'm
he is,
telling
he
you.
is, he is, and I understand that. But what I'm
Do
saying
you
is that,
believe? Before you go into that, do you believe that fighters can rise to the occasion of their opponent, the challenge?
yeah, definitely, because there's fighters that fight to the level of their opponent. We've seen fighters that have great boxing abilities that are very good boxers, and then they fight somebody who's shitty, and they look like shit themselves. So absolutely, I think there are fighters that fight to the level of their opponent. And going back to the conditioning, yes, I do agree. He does have a great conditioning, strength and conditioning coach that's very well recognizable. But we have to see if is Canelo going to be able to cut the ring and hit him in the body, because you could have the best strength and conditioning coach, but if somebody like Canelo is hitting you constantly with power shots in the body, that's going to take a toll. That's going to take your legs away. Now, if let's say Canelo is able to take Plant's legs away by the first half of the fight, now we're going to find out, does Plant have the dog in him to be able to outbox Canelo while he's being walked down? Because we know Canelo, that's what he's going to try to do.
Think about this situation. What if Plant is out there outboxing Canelo Alvarez and he's down on the cards like he's been down on the cards in several other fights? What if he gets in a situation where Plant still has stamina and Canelo's down on the cards and it's looking like the ninth round? Then what? Does Canelo have the boxing ability to close that gap?
I think in terms of the gap
without stopping the person.
No. My question to you is, you mean does Canelo have the boxing ability to close which gap?
I'm saying, like,
gap,
or
the boxing?
Canelo's down on the cards like he was in the Kovalev fight, like he was in the Mir Khan fight. What if in this situation they're not a weak chin guy or a guy that gasses out? What if Plant actually still has gas in the later rounds while he's still high up on the cards? Can Canelo do something that's going to change the outcome of the fight from there?
Yeah, I think if Canelo can catch him with a big shot, he could definitely hurt him and change the outcome of the fight. I think Canelo is one of those fighters that has the ability to change the way a fight is going with one punch, and I feel that we saw that with Billy Joe Saunders. Now, I personally don't think Canelo was losing that fight. Some people say that, Canelo was losing that fight. Now, I think Canelo was in control of that fight, but it was a good fight. It was a very good fight. And then you saw that with one punch, Canelo just changed the whole outcome of the fight. So Canelo does have the power and the ability to hit you with one shot that can change the outcome of the fight.
And looking at Trap Media's comment right here, he says Canelo is the best all-around fighter in the world. Let's keep it a beam, bro. Killer has no power. Do you consider Canelo a all-around fighter? Because
yes, he is. Canelo is a complete fighter, and there's no denying it. Canelo is a complete fighter. I know that in terms of like his he doesn't have the footwork of Lara, of Mayweather. He's not gonna have that, and he never will. But
so
how much
he's not a complete fighter. When you say complete fighter, I'm thinking of guys like Terrence Crawford, guys who has power, speed, footwork, and has the ability to switch stance. That's a complete fighter. That's a complete fighter to me.
But switching stance doesn't mean
has upper body movement. He only has upper body movement, some decent power. That's not a complete boxer, because it's like, why? What? For an example,
but would you say that Errol Spence? Would you say, hold on,
boxer? Why does Canelo want his fighters to fight in a certain type of ring? A complete boxer will go into the ring no matter if the ring is big, small, or whatever. He will beat the guy.
The A side always chooses, but those are things that have always been chosen. The A side always chooses the size of the ring, and how that's always been. Mayweather. Listen, when De La Hoya, hold on, when De La Hoya was the A side, when De La Hoya was the A side, he chose everything for the Mayweather fight. He chose the gloves, he chose the ring size, he chose all of that. De La Hoya did. Now, when Mayweather became the A side, he chose it over his opponents. That's something that's just the nature of the sport.
Just the reason why I'm saying that is because you're saying he's a complete fighter. A complete fighter can go into a ring, despise the size, and do what he has to do, and he can win multiple ways.
Yeah, he did that with Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders was complaining.
We all know there's a problem when it comes to fighting guys with footwork. So Canelo's a very good fighter, but I had to wholeheartedly disagree and say he's not a complete fighter, man.
Okay, but would you say that Errol Spence is not a complete fighter because he doesn't switch stance?
No. I'm not saying because of switching stance. I'm just saying that's something that I would include, but that's
Okay,
not a
okay. Because
requirement.
what I'm saying
But
is,
what I'm
okay,
saying, like,
Canelo might not be able to, for example, Canelo might not be able to have, like I said, he might not have the footwork of, like, let's say Lara, a prime Lara probably had some of the best footwork in terms of like how fast they were on their feet. Rigo is another one. People might call him boring, but he could fucking move those feet and get out of the way of punches, right? Mayweather. Um, but what I'm saying is now Canelo might not have that footwork, but he's able to stay. He's able to close the gap when he fights people like that. Now, if you look at, you can't compare the Canelo that fought Mayweather and Lara to the Canelo that is now. He has been able to, and this is something that fighters, people that have fought Canelo say, is that look, he's able to get closer to you than you think, just by doing feints and by just, you know, he's able to close the distance between, like, you don't think he's gonna be able to tag you, but then he'll tag you with
yeah,
a
I
jab.
I know Canelo has the ability to cut off the ring when it comes to certain opponents, but I'm saying though, man, to be complete. When I say complete, I'm looking at guys like Errol Spence Jr., somebody who has speed, somebody has decent power, somebody that has footwork, someone that has athleticism, and he has defense. Not the very best, but it's good enough not to get knocked down or severely hurt.
Yeah, but Canelo has that. I think Canelo's a complete fighter.
And
I
plus, they
think
say he
I
never
think
tested positive for PEDs. Now, I know that's a touchy subject, but it's something that we have to speak on, man, because it's just what
Yeah,
it is.
but
But
this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't go into.
okay,
I
I
mean,
get
I
what
can
you're saying.
argue. I
You know,
could
you
argue
saying that
both
that's the
points.
Canelo of
I
the
can argue.
past,
I can
the
argue
Canelo
both
of the
points.
future. Let's look
Say
at
that
the
again.
Canelo of the future.
Wait,
Canelo of the future is fighting guys like Billy Joe Saunders, Yeardrum, Caleb Smith. I'm sorry, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough, man, because we know that there's guys in around his division that's way more skillful than that. Don't you think we'll be having a different conversation if Canelo beat Charlo and beat Benavidez and then
but but,
goes on to
but,
fight
but
Plant?
hold on. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Canelo is fighting what he's fighting a guy that we want to see. He's going for undisputed. He's fighting a guy that fights in a style that historically has given him trouble. So what, there's nothing, you know
Wait,
what I'm
wait,
saying? Like, he's
wait. You
fighting.
you said we want to see Plant because I don't recall us asking for him to compete at 168 at all.
I wanted to see Canelo versus Andre, but I feel like that's
I
another
didn't. I
thing.
didn't give a fuck about him competing at 168 against none of these people. Plant here because he the last piece of the puzzle, and people want to see this man get undisputed, which is cool. But ain't nobody called for the last 5, 6 fucking Canelo fights. People said they wanted to see Billy Joe at 160, which is whatever.
In
But I ain't called.
2016.
Yeah, but I ain't called for none of this run. So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's but what I'm saying is you might not care for this fight, but are you gonna tune into this fight?
Yeah, because I'm a
yeah,
I'm a boxing fan. I'm definitely tuning
I'm
in.
tuning in
And
because I got
and
some
that's
bread
the
on this
thing. I
shit.
don't want people to
Exactly.
like
So as
go ahead.
boxing fans that we are, for you guys to say, oh, like here's the problem, right? Armin, I wanted to correct you on something because you said, oh, I'm a Canelo fan. No, I'm a fan of the sport
Okay.
overall. I'm a fan of the sport, but I respect Canelo's boxing ability, and I respect what he's doing. Um, I think that this is a very good fight. Like, you guys, you know,
Do you think
Armin,
this is
you
a do you
believe. Hold on
think
one
it's a
second. Hold on
50-50
one
fight?
second. You believe
My
that Plant's going to beat him. You think Plant's going to beat him. So that's you should believe that's a dangerous fight for Canelo, especially with how Canelo has had trouble with guys like Lara and Mayweather. So
And that's the point I'm getting at, because a lot of people think it's kind of insulting when they tell me that Canelo is just going to easily just walk through Plant like Plant's a nobody.
which I disagree with. Canelo's not going to be able to go there and just walk Plant down. You know what I'm saying? Plant is a guy, like I said, Plant is a guy that can move his feet. He got fast hands. He got very good ring boxing IQ. He's a very good fighter. Um, and Canelo knows this. Canelo knows this. Eddie Reynoso, they know this, so they're taking him very serious. Now, like I said, I believe it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a much better fight than what people think. Some Canelo fans are saying, "Oh, Canelo's just going to walk him down, knock him out." Some people on the other side are thinking, well, Canelo's just going to get completely outboxed. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a very interesting fight in the first half because of, like I said, because of Plant's boxing ability, and then it's going to be, the second half of the fight is going to be even better. I feel that Plant, like I said, he does fight in one gear, and we've seen it. He fights in one gear. He does have great abilities, but can he maintain that for 12 rounds? When he's getting hit to the body, he's got somebody coming at him.
Yeah.
Another thing is, let's say that.
Is that you, Ari?
Yeah, it's me. What's up, man?
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got a couple people up in here. Trap Media. We got my dude Checkmate Boxing. We got my brother D Hive. And we got Ari Boxing here. We cooking up. Y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all get some dope merch on artmanapparel.com. And also, if y'all are willing, hit the Cash App Artmanboxing, $Artmanboxing. But go ahead.
So I feel like I said it's not going to be an easy fight for Canelo, and I think Canelo understands that. It's not going to be an easy fight. Canelo knows this. His team knows this, and I think it's a great fight to tune into. We're gonna see.
This is my thing, Ari, because obviously you guys know I'm picking Plant. I'm going to be putting my 700 on so I can get that 23K. That's because I think Canelo was a good fighter. I just think he's vastly overrated. The reason being is people talk about his resume, but they like to discount the Rocky Fieldings. They like to discount the Yildirim's. They like this. I call them Euro bums. Not all European fighters are bum from UK, whatever. But Rocky Fielding is a Euro bum. Yildirim is a Euro bum. You understand what I'm saying? These people.
You gotta understand that those were the Rocky Fielding. That was a belt grab. Everybody knows what that was.
Okay. But I get that. But check this out. He actually. He ducked Andre for Undisputed. So why would you duck an Undisputed to go up to 168 to fight a Rocky Fielding that no American knows, that has no type of cachet, that has no skill sets that warrant people to even salivate for? This is the reason why the Zone gave him so much problems, and he ended up suing and everything else, because they wouldn't approve all of these trash fights that he's had. No, I never ever called Canelo a bum. I just don't think he's the best. Now, my thing is, again, you just said that he went up to get the belt grab. So how can you? Do you have an explanation for him ducking Andre for Undisputed, ducking Charlo for WBC the mandatory, and then franchise, and ducking IBF Devenchenko for mandatory and stripped? So he did all of that in 2019. He did all of that after he ducked.
Remember?
I'm sorry?
I said Devenchenko priced himself out, remember?
Well, you can't price yourself out when you are mandatory.
I was being sarcastic.
They're supposed to go to purse bid.
Yeah, okay. I was being sarcastic.
But here's
okay. Let me say this, please. And so it went to purse bid, and the IBF gave them 3 different extensions. They never went to purse bid. They just delayed, and then they stripped them. And when it came to WBC, you know what I mean? WBC was forcing. They said, you got to fight Charlo. He's your mandatory. And Canelo was like, I don't forget it then. I'll drop the belt. You know what I mean? And because they was going to strip him. So what they do, they made up the franchise. So this is my problem with Canelo. I was a Canelo fan up until 2018. I cannot respect a person who's only going to fight 2 fighters at 160 and then duck out when he see Andre, when he see Charlo, when he see Deverenchenko. And anybody who watched the Deverenchenko versus DGG, Deverenchenko actually won that fight. He was robbed. Canelo wanted no parts of that guy. So this is the reason why when I look at Canelo, Plant is bigger than all the people who've given Canelo problems. When we talk about Floyd, people like to say, oh, we don't have to mention Floyd. Why not? There's been fighters who've given Floyd problems, but Canelo didn't give him any problems. It was a wipeout. You know what I mean? So that Maidana fought Floyd better than Canelo did.
Yeah, but are you going to compare? But are you going to compare the Canelo that fought Mayweather then and now? You can't. Canelo's a much better fighter.
Okay, but we saying he's a much better fighter. But what have you seen? The only thing we've seen Canelo is get bigger. That's it. And we know why he got bigger, because it's been documented. And he was suspended for that. And now WBC say, oh, that's not a steroid. It turns fat into muscles. It makes you bigger. I put out videos. I just put out a video with Mauricio saying that. That is the definition of a PED. So he only fights fighters who are limited. If you watch the Jacobs fight, Jacob didn't do anything for 7 rounds.
Hold on one second. So are you saying that Plant is limited?
No, Plant. No. Plant is definitely. I'm not talking about Plant. I'm talking about the fighters. Listen,
okay,
Jacobs.
But that's what I'm saying. But we could go back. We could go back and argue fucking forever about shit that happened back then.
That's not my point. That was not the point I was making.
With you. Listen, hold on.
I'm going back to his zone days.
But before you go forward again, right? I agree. In my opinion, Canelo should have fought Jermell Charlo as his mandatory when Jermell was going to be the mandatory. I agree with that 100%. I also believe that Canelo should have fought Andre for Undisputed at 160. I agree with that because Canelo said that his goal was to become Undisputed at 160. I remember him saying that, and he had 3 other belts. All he had to do was fight Derevchenko, whatever, that whole situation with Golden Boy happened. Whatever. But what I'm talking about is Canelo's boxing ability. I'm not talking about the politics. I'm not talking about what he did back then. What I'm talking about is his overall boxing ability. You can't deny that he's a great fighter. Now, right now, he is fighting someone who stylistically has given him trouble in the past. So he is fighting one of the best fighters at 168. You can't deny that. Because if you go down the list of who are the best fighters in the weight class, Caleb Plant is up there. He's a champion. He's going for Undisputed. It's a great fight. I don't see anything wrong with him fighting Plant. I mean, do I still want to see him fight Charlo? Absolutely. I hope he fights Charlo right after this fight. And then after that, he could fight Benavidez. But I'm not going to get caught up in the whole fucking politics and all the shit that happened back then with Derevchenko and Andre and whatever.
You can't call it politics when he said his reason for not fighting Andre for Undisputed in 2019 was that Andre was a boring fighter. I swear to God, I will find it. I will get the tag. I will find it.
I saw that he said he was a horrible fighter. I know.
No. I'm not talking about what he said in the press conference. I'm talking about when the Undisputed fight was proposed in 2019. He said Andre's a boring fighter. That's not, So why would you duck Andre, but then you go fight a boring fighter named a boring fighter Rocky Fielding, a boring fighting Yildirim, a boring fighting Cal. Even the Kovalev fight was a snooze fest, and he fought Kovalev on 6 weeks' notice after a grudge match.
But what does all of that had to do with him fighting Caleb Plant right now? What you got to understand is that you're being. Hold on 1 second.
That wasn't the point I was making. It's because every time I try to make the point, you'll take it to the next level. You first stated deny as far as great. I think Canelo's a good fighter. I was telling you when I stopped becoming a Canelo fan because of the ducking. You confirmed, yeah, he ducked. Okay, now if you're fighting Caleb Plant, then if we're talking about who we choosing, we got to choose why we're choosing him. I'm telling you reasons why I'm choosing Caleb Plant. Because
which is fair. But what I'm saying, okay, so my question to you was, okay, my question to you is, why are you choosing Caleb Plant to be Canelo, right?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
But you're going around in circles about what happened like last year. You get what I'm saying? I respect your opinion. I know we've had these conversations on Twitter. You and I have talked before about it before. But what I'm moving forward. I'm just saying, like, look, Plant is a very good fighter. He's a champion. He has great boxing abilities. Canelo right now is peaking as a fighter as well. He's on top of his game. This is a great fight. That's what I'm saying. And in my opinion, I think Canelo comes out on top. That's it.
And I have no problem with, whatever your choices, your opinion are. You know what I mean? I like you. We don't have to agree on everything. You feel like Canelo's going to come out, and I'm giving you the reasons why. Okay, there's a myriad of reasons why I'm choosing Plant. For the fighters that he's ducked. The reason that he's ducked, the fact that he just hasn't had any great competition. The only great, the tough fights he had was with GGG. In his last 10 fights, you can count GGG, you can count what's it, Jacobs. Jacobs didn't do anything the first 7 rounds, but the last 4 rounds.
Let me ask you a question. Why didn't he do anything? Why wasn't Jacob?
You gotta let me finish my statement, though. You're gonna make me lose my train of thought again.
Speak real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, again, with Jacobs didn't do anything the first 7 rounds, sort of like what Lomachenko did with Teo. Now, when Jacob, from the last 4 rounds, Jacob dominated. Jacob won every single firefight. Every time they got into a skirmish, Jacob won those. So when I look at what he does against boxers, when I look at all the people who've given him trouble, I don't have to go back to Floyd and Lara, but I will mention them because, again, I felt like he lost those fights. So, when it comes to Plant is bigger than Lara and Mayweather and what was the other guy before Mayweather? Trout. Yeah. All of these guys gave him problems. Why? Okay. Because they were able to slip. Okay. Canelo is kind of a slow, prodding, methodical. I'm going to set you up. I'm going to get you in the corner. I'm going to bang. Now, the people that he's been fighting, they all have in common? I'm going to lay on the ropes and give you the high guard. The only person who didn't do that lately was Billy Joe Saunders. And I had Billy Joe Saunders winning that fight before the stoppage because he threw double the amount. And I don't care what the punch stats say, I saw Billy Joe land more. Okay. So this is the style. And when I look at Plant, he's a much better boxer. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's more elusive than Billy Joe. I just do not see Canelo. The only way I see Canelo beating Plant is on the judges' scorecards. But I'm willing to bet my $700 to go ahead and win my $23,000.
And go ahead, you know what I say to that, brother? Checkmate boxing. When you win that money, go ahead, spread the love on artmanapparel.com. Straight up, man.
I'm gonna get a commemorative. I'm gonna get up something
special. I stepped away for a second. Somebody trying to say Boots ducking Blair the Flair. Oh, try me. Don't do it to yourself. Come on, bro. Stop it.
Now, but Ari, what holes do you see in Plant that make you say, "Oh, I can see Canelo's going to dominate him"?
Which holes
going to win?
Because of lack of a steroid
bad against
okay, so you're asking me which holes do I see in Caleb Plant's game that I think Canelo will be able to take advantage of?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I feel that Caleb Plant doesn't have the power to keep Canelo off of him for 12 rounds. That's what I think. And like I said, the fight is going to be a very good fight. Like I said, it's going to be a very good fight. Plant is going to give Canelo trouble the first half of the fight. That I do believe because, like I said, he has fast hands, fast feet. He could box. He's very smart. It's going to be a very good fight. My thing is that in the second half of the fight, I believe Canelo, with his boxing abilities and what he's gonna do in the first half, is gonna be, it's gonna slow Plant down enough where Canelo is gonna be able to like I said, go to the body, hurt him more to the body, and make it a firefight, which is gonna is gonna come down to either he hurts Plant or even if it goes to decision. Which, like I said, the Plant is going to have to win as many rounds as possible in the first half, because we know that Canelo is going to make it a tighter fight in the second half. And my only thing is that, like I said, if let's say Canelo's able to, win 3 rounds out of the first 6, right? So you go after it's 3-3, and after those 6 rounds, let's say that Plant legs are already gone, or not gone, but he's not as agile as he is in the first half of the fight. Is he going to be able to keep Canelo off of him for the last 6 rounds? So that's.
I think we're sleeping on Caleb Plant's power. I feel like people.
He doesn't have power to keep Canelo. Let's be honest. How many knockouts does he have? And how many times have we seen Canelo knocked out, like hurt?
Has Canelo knocked out anyone that's legitimately been his size?
He's
like
never
that,
dominated a top fighter.
Like, come on now. Like, I mean,
what do you mean? Wait, say that again. What do you mean?
What I'm saying is that most of Canelo's most prolific knockouts, if they've even been knockouts, have come from people that he's had about 20 damn pounds on, especially when we're talking about his catchweight run, dragging up dudes from 140 and
155.
And also, people, I know you're going to bring up Kovalev. I know you're going to bring him up, and I know you're going to bring up Billy Joe Saunders. That's cool.
I wasn't.
Okay, well, that's great. I'm going to bring it up then. Kovalev, let's keep it real. People talking shit about that fight because the way of it looked. I'm not going to speculate.
He fought him in short notice. And yes, Kovalev was, is kind of
no. I'm not talking
prime of his career.
I'm not talking about the conditions of the knockout. I'm talking about the very knockout itself. People, including Kovalev, are saying that it's not what it seemed like, and that's neither here nor there. But
but I'm not going to get into what people say. I'm just telling you based on what I saw.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Kovalev's body wasn't recovered. He said he knew he was going to lose that fight. He said, "There's no way I could win it. I took the fight for the money."
But
yeah, exactly. And we knew that.
Was still winning the fight by the time.
I talked about it. Yeah, it was a short turnaround. It was a short turnaround for Kovalev. And yeah, it was.
But also look at the Jacobs situation. Jacobs got put down with one damn punch, and Canelo didn't do that to Jacobs. So I'm just curious, like, this power is coming from people that are significantly smaller than
going back to and I'm glad you brought up Jacob. Checkmate said, "Oh well, Jacobs didn't do anything the first 7 rounds of the fight." Well, why wasn't he able to do anything with the first 7 rounds of the fight? Same reason. Hold on.
The same reason. He did not throw. It's not like he got out.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
he didn't throw because Canelo was making him miss and making him pay. If you look at that fight, Canelo on numerous occasions, I will see Jacob throw a jab. Canelo will slip it and catch Jacob with a jab of himself. And he was making Jacob miss, and he was hitting him. That's why Jacob wasn't as active.
I wasn't talking about the boxing ability. I was talking about the KO power. I was talking about specifically the KO power. Y'all all seem to think that Plant's chin ain't gonna be able to hold up to shit. And the truth of the matter is, Canelo, I don't think has ever been able to really put out anyone that's been on his size level.
But But my question is, okay, when have we seen Plant's chin get tested?
We have not.
That is something we're gonna find out. I never said that Plant's chin is not gonna hold up. I never said that. I said Plant is a dog. I know he could fight, but we're gonna find out if he's able to withstand Canelo, Canelo's power.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. So we're gonna find out. I'm not saying that he's gonna fold. I never said that. What I'm saying is, I'm talking for me. I'm not talking for anybody on social media. I'm talking for me. In my opinion, it's going to be a very good fight. The first half of the first half of the fight, I favor Caleb Plant in terms of being able to outbox Canelo. And like I said, Canelo's going to have to go to the body, hurt him to slow him down for the second half of the fight. And Caleb Plant's going to have to win as many rounds as he can in the first half of the fight. Now, once the second half of the fight starts, we're gonna see the conditioning of Plant. We're gonna see the condition of both of them, to be honest. And
Okay, but let me ask you, Ari. Isn't Canelo known for bad conditioning? Isn't he known for running out of gas up until the clenbuterol? Until he got introduced himself to clenbuterol, he gassed out in every fight at the back half.
Canelo did have those issues. Canelo did have those issues where it seemed like after the 7th round he was slowed down. But we have not seen that in his recent fights.
But that's my point. Who in his recent fights gave him any cause to pause?
Well, I'm talking about since the failed drug test.
Canelo has had very low punch output. This new Canelo, very low punch output. He's slow prodding. Canelo used to be. His thing was changed. He was a counter puncher.
But you got to understand that Canelo is a very, like you just said, he's a very methodical, prowling puncher. He's not gonna waste punches. He's a very, when he throws, when he lands, there's significant punches wherever they land, whether they land in the arms, in the body, wherever they land, they're hard shots. So when he throws, he makes sure that he's gonna hurt you. Now, that doesn't mean that. Look, did he flow for clenbuterol? Absolutely. But what you guys don't understand is that clenbuterol is a real problem in Mexico. It's a real problem in agriculture in Mexico, but not just in Mexico, in other brown countries. It's an agricultural problem in China.
But why hasn't he never popped for it before? Why did he only time he popped for it was the 2 tests he failed in 2018? Why is that? Why isn't all these other Mexican fighters in America, that's fighting on these big fights, why aren't they getting popped from clenbuterol?
They have. What are you talking about? There have been numerous.
You can name a few of them. You can't even name 5 of them who's popped.
But you got to understand. There. Hold on. First of all, there have been fighters, professional fighters, Mexican professional fighters that have failed for clenbuterol. Number one, right?
Ari, so I said, but they're in Mexico. We're talking about in America.
Hold on 1 second. What are you talking about? They're Mexican fighters that fight in the U.S.
Ari, but you're not getting my point. Is Canelo has been fighting professionally since he was 15, right? He's
Correct.
only failed 2 tests for clenbuterol. So don't say how rampant. No, he was cheating. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's call it what
he was cheating. Was he? But does that mean he was cheating though? No, it doesn't necessarily mean he was cheating.
Well, WBC Mauricio said clenbuterol it turns fat into muscle. It makes you grow.
Mauricio Suleiman, hear me out. Mauricio Suleiman is not a scientist. He's a liar.
Victor Conte said it was a PED though. But Victor Conte said the same thing.
It is a PED, but it doesn't.
It is a PED. It is a PED. I never disputed that. And Victor Conte also said that. And I'm glad you brought up Victor Conte. Victor Conte also said that he didn't believe Canelo was a PED cheater. He believed Canelo. He believed that Canelo ingested tainted meat. Well, and again, hold on 1 second. Let me finish. Okay. And the reason why he believes that is because Victor Conte was the person that told Canelo's team, "Listen, go get the hair follicle test. If your hair follicle tests come out, this is your way to kind of to show that you're not a cheater." That was Victor Conte's idea. He was the one that told Canelo's team to do this, to do the hair follicle test. Because if you're a cheater, if you have been cheating, you do a hair follicle test.
Who told the WBC to raise the levels of it though?
The WBC raised the level on the advice of WADA, of the World Anti-Doping.
I have one question. I have one question though.
They need to rate.
I have one question. If hair follicles, because this is, if hair follicles are the penultimate reliable test to show intent to cheat or not, why is it exactly that professional athletes, job applications, the prison industrial complex, the military, and everyone else, why is it that they rely on piss and not hair follicles? Because the last time I checked, your liver has to metabolize all incoming chemicals that come in contact with the body and not hair. So if hair is the penultimate determining factor of whether you ingested something intentionally or not, why does literally everyone rely on piss? Because it's funny because Canelo failed two back-to-back piss tests and then they switched to hair. Now I have my personal theories about the shit, but I'm just curious about how all these scientists and all this stuff, they don't just use hair off top.
So obviously it's much cheaper to do a piss test, and then there's a blood test is the next. So what they usually do, they do a piss test first because it's the cheapest way. Then they go to the blood work, right? And then the most expensive one is obviously something that WADA or USADA or VADA, they're not going to pay for, is the hair follicle test. Now, the reason why, the hair follicle test, for example, the way, from my understanding, listen, I'm not a scientist, but this is my understanding of it. Whenever you use something for long periods of time, or you use it for a period of time, when your hair grows in, right, there's traces that are left in your hair follicles, right? So if you've been using it for a long time, it's going to be in your hair and you're not going to be able to get rid of it. Now, if you just happen to be, ate something tainted like Canelo's team was claiming, then you're really not going to see it in the hair follicles, because it wasn't enough to stay, it wasn't enough of an amount to, go up to your hair growing out and you having it in your system. That's where the whole hair follicle comes into part. But like I said, Victor Conte was the one that basically advised Canelo's team to do this whole hair follicle test. And Victor Conte is the same person that works with Caleb Plant with Snacks. So,
But Victor Conte didn't administer the test to him. Victor Conte just gave some idea, and there's a shelf life to this. That's the reason why they cycle off. In my opinion, my estimation, I believe that is the reason why Canelo did not fight Plant in September, because he had to cycle it out of his system, period. So when you look at Canelo's body transformation, this is not natural. Why? Because all of a sudden you go through 20 years of fighting, and all of a sudden you get to this, 15 years of fighting, and all of a sudden he just started changing his body. It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean his body started changing? What do you mean his body started changing? Canelo has always...
Canelo has always been a thick guy, but you can see him being cut. Listen, people juice in boxing all the time. Eddie Hearn talks about people cycling out. We know a lot of people on TUEs. It happens. It's in the sport. Now, my thing is this: people were so fascinated with Canelo's power, but like I believe my brother said a few minutes ago, he's never knocked out a top fighter. Never dominated a top fighter.
So where's all this knocked out anyone that's been similar to him in weight, to be quite honest?
Never. So you look at Amir Khan, and you guys are impressed.
He's hurt guys. What do you mean? He's hurt guys. He fought.
Okay, but Plant is bigger.
When he fought Trout, he fought Trout. Trout was.
He didn't stop Trout though, and Cesar Chavez Jr. is the second biggest quitter in boxing, and he went all 12. Fucking
hold on. 40-year-old. First of all, when Canelo fought Trout, that was a very dangerous fight that nobody said Canelo was going to take, and Canelo took it. Canelo fought Trout. He hurt Trout in the 7th round with a straight right and dropped him. So I don't understand what, and that's how he ended up getting the Mayweather fight.
Yeah, Mayweather told him he needed to fight somebody to gain some damn profile, like he tells everyone else. We know. All I'm saying is that when you're a similar size or bigger than Canelo, your chances for going 12 are pretty solid.
He just stopped Billy Joe Saunders.
But he never dropped Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders quit in the corner.
What else do you want? He broke the guy's face.
Let
I
me
was gonna
finish my
say
statement. Let me finish my statement,
Billy
sir.
Joe Saunders has never
He
fought as heavy
never
as
dropped Billy
175.
Joe Saunders.
He's
Billy Joe
bigger.
Saunders quit in the corner because of the broken eye socket.
Because
He
he
never
got his face
dropped
broken.
him.
But
Well,
he
of
got his
course.
face broken.
Okay, but my point is he never dropped him. He quit. That's it. He quit. He's
He
a
broke his
quitter.
face.
But
He
he
still
okay.
stopped him. It doesn't
But
matter. It still goes down as a
okay,
TKO.
okay, we understand that, but
And he
okay,
came
people
and he
quit.
came from
People quit. There's
160.
been plenty of people
He's a
who quit.
natural 160. That's my point. He's not the Canelo fought as heavy as 170 goddamn 5. That's what I'm saying. He came from 160, Billy Joe Saunders, and his career since 168 haven't been shit. That's why people wanted Canelo to fight him at middleweight. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Canelo not fighting him at middleweight was not Canelo's fault. That was Billy Joe Saunders' fault.
That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying it was Canelo's fault. I'm just saying that when you're Canelo size or bigger, you're more than likely going 12. You can only name, again, Billy Joe Saunders and Kovalev. I mean, we rating what, Callum Smith's chin? Like, is that what we're doing now?
So let me ask you, who's the better boxer?
I don't know. Listen, like I said, I'm a fan of the sport. I like Canelo. I respect what he's doing for the sport. I feel that, yes, he had some issues in the past, but he's fighting the best available guy at 168 who has a belt.
He's not the best available guy. David Benavidez is the one who I don't listen.
See, but I understand that, but Benavidez fucked himself over. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Benavidez did it to himself. I want to see Canelo.
But let me make my David Benavidez point.
I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez. I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez. I do. I want to see that fight. I'm hoping that Canelo.
But that was not the point I was making. My point is that he David Benavidez messed up. But guess what? When Canelo should not have had the right as a sitting champion to be fighting another champion in Callum Smith for a vacant belt. That is cheapening his way to try to get to
vacant belt. What a vacant belt. Callum Smith had that belt. What are you talking about?
No, Ari, it was David Benavidez's vacant belt that was on the line as well. That's how he got David Benavidez's belt during the Callum Smith fight. He should not have been allowed. The only person I've ever known who do that was Loma.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, man. The WBC is gonna favor Canelo. That we already went over this. Listen. I don't agree the way that Canelo got the belt. Like when Benavidez had when Benavidez was the champion, if Canelo wanted the WBC belt, he could have petitioned for that belt, right? He didn't, but Benavidez kind of screwed himself over too. Because he didn't only lose the belt once outside the ring, he lost it twice outside the ring. And I think Benavidez is a great fighter. Is he
okay? But Ari, you're my guy. Ari, you gotta listen, brother. You're my guy. I enjoy conversations, but you gotta let me finish my sentence. I didn't even get to the point what I'm trying to make with David Benavidez. My point is he fought for David Benavidez's vacant belt while fighting Callum Smith. So it was unification with Callum Smith, and he fought. Why didn't he just fight Callum Smith without that vacant belt? And why didn't he fight in another fight the vacant belt versus Benavidez? Why? Because he's ducking him just like he ducked Charlo, just like he ducked Andre, just like he ducked Devinchenko. So you can't say that because all of a sudden after he fights him, guess who he fights next? He fights Yildirim. That's who he fights after Yildirim. Then Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders had a belt. That's excusable. But you can't excuse. No one can excuse him fighting Yildirim and instead of fighting David Benavidez for that vacant belt when David Benavidez was still ranked number 1. He lost the belt. Tank lost his belt on the scales, and guess what? He got the title shot like the fight after that. Okay, so there's precedence. But the only two people I've ever seen actually fight for sitting champions fight for vacant belts to try to cheat the system instead of going and wiping out the division is Lomachenko and Canelo. I cannot respect
but
that.
It's not cheating. You can't say cheating the system. The problem is you got to understand that it's not so much cheating the system, is that the way the system is set up, they allow people like Canelo to get special preferences. He's playing the game. He's playing the game. That's what he's doing.
Can you name another fighter other than Canelo and Loma who fought for a vacant belt as sitting champions? Can you name any other fighters?
Yeah, the guys that fight for the WBO, they freaking what is it? Navarrete got the WBO belt when Shakur Stevenson moved up to 130.
I know. I said was a sitting champion. I'm in the same. I'm fighting at
Navarrete is the
168.
champion at 126. He's this champion at 126. That's how he got the WBO belt.
So
that belt was.
he,
I mean, he beat.
but
I'm sorry.
was he a sitting champion at 126?
No. What I'm saying
That's
is,
my point.
there's
Ari,
fights.
you're missing my point, my brother.
A
My
lot of
point
people
is,
fight for. A lot of people fight for vacant belts. A lot of people fight for vacant belts. It's nothing new to the sport.
Ari, brother, you're missing my point. It's not about the vacant belt. It's the fact that Canelo was already a champion. Callum Smith was already a champion. Okay, and then all of a sudden we fighting for a vacant belt. Canelo had the franchise and all and everything else.
See, but you're getting at it. I'm here to talk about Plant versus Canelo, and you're going off on the politics. I know,
but we got on Benavidez because you said he was fighting when he fought. You know, he was fighting the best available, and I was like, well, actually, Benavidez was the best available, but he never fought.
Right. But my question to you is: was Benavidez have a belt? Did he have a belt? No, he didn't have a belt. So right now, this fight right now, Canelo versus Plant is for undisputed, super middleweight champion of the world that has never, been done before, regardless of how they've never done it before in the 4-belt era. So this is a fight that we should tune in. This is a fight we should support as boxing fans. And it's a great fight. You guys are going for Plant because you guys believe that Plant can beat Canelo.
Whoa, I got Canelo winning. I got Canelo winning.
Right. So it's can we agree that it's a great fight? It's not a walkthrough?
No, it's not a walkthrough.
Exactly. So it's a great fight. So we should be celebrating that. We should be celebrating that. But we should be celebrating that it's going to be a great fight. But we can't get caught up on, all the politics of all the bullshit of what happened before. Plant is a champion. He's the only one that has a belt besides Canelo right now. And it's a great fight. I don't understand. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit that happened before because we'll be here forever.
I understand. We just brought up the David Benavidez going through the progression.
I want to see. Listen, that's the fight I want to see. I want to see. Listen, this is what I want to see for Canelo. I want to see Canelo versus Plant this weekend. If Canelo wins that fight, I want to see Canelo versus Charlo next. Canelo wins that fight, I want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. Those are the fights I want to see. If Plant wins, I want to see Plant versus Benavidez.
But why not Canelo versus Benavidez before Charlo, since Charlo's still, doing whatever he's doing at 160?
Well, that's gonna depend on who's gonna pursue the fight. We know Benavidez wants to fight. We know Charlo has been wanting the fight for a long time. So whoever can get the fight out of those two, I'll be more than happy to support it.
Because Benavidez is number one. Whichever order. Because Benavidez is number one for WBC, I believe, if I'm not crazy.
But do you care if they're both going to get the fight? Do you care which one gets it first?
Yeah, actually, because I think that Charlo should be focused on 160, trying to unify some of that bullshit. And
but let's talk about 160. Look what's happening at 160, right? You got Triple G who didn't unify with Andre, didn't unify with Charlo, did turn down the Munguia fight, and now he's fighting Murata, who was elevated as a super champion for the WBA belt, and now, in my opinion, Triple G lost to Derevchenko, which you said before, Checkmate Boxing. You said I think Derevchenko won that fight, and now he's fighting to unify versus Murata. Right, and then Munguia is the number one ranked for both WBC and the belt that Andre has, but he hasn't petitioned to fight him. Right,
he's ranked for all three of them.
That's not going to happen, huh?
He's ranked number one for all three of them, Triple G included.
Okay, so Triple G didn't want to fight him, but okay, so he's ranked number one for the other two belts, that the one that Andre has and the one that Charlo has, but he's not petitioning to fight those guys. Now, Charlo and Andre, they're not fucking fighting each other. So it's like 160's fucked.
No.
So it's like, why should if Canelo becomes undisputed at 168, I agree that I want Charlo to get the fight. I do. But I don't care if Charlo gets it first or if Benavidez gets it first. I don't really care.
I just think it's crazy how considering what you just said, if Charlo comes up to 168 and gets an automatic shot at 168 undisputed, that sounds crazy. Like I think Benavidez. I
But
think
why?
Benavidez.
But why is it? But why is it crazy? I mean, like I said, I really don't care who gets the fight. Who gets the fight first? As long as Benavidez and Charlo get the fight, I want them to get it back to back. I want to see Canelo, fight Plant, Charlo, Benavidez, those three in a row.
That would be some shit right there. Because I'm looking.
You know what I'm saying? And if he beats those three guys, it will cement him as one of the greatest Mexican fighters ever, in my opinion.
If he can legitimately go on that run, I mean, because like I said, I don't personally dislike Canelo, and I have Canelo winning this weekend. I'm one of those people. So if he, despite my, some of my basic criticisms, if he goes on that run, then I'll actually go ahead and give the man his proper, despite all of the nonsense. Will I write off
listen, there's been a lot of bullshit in the whole Canelo situation. There has been numerous, like I said, the shit with Golden Boy and DAZN and him getting stripped of belts, all that. There's been a lot of nonsense that I didn't like, that I didn't agree with. That kind of is like, come on, this bullshit again. But like I said, right now I'm excited for this fight, and that's the fight I want to watch. It's happening. Plant versus Canelo for Undisputed at 168. It's a great fight. And it's like I said, it's not a gimme. It's not an easy fight for neither guy. So we just got to tune in.
Yeah, especially for Plant, because he already losing. So I mean, we already know how that goes. If a card can turn up in a fight where a man won no rounds, then Plant definitely got some work to do.
Well, speaking of that, they just announced the three judges and the ref for that fight. And one of the judges is fucking horrible, which you guys probably know the name, Patricia Morris Jarman.
Oh shit.
Right. So
what I tell you, Art.
What was it? She gave the Navarrete versus Joel Gonzalez. I think she had a bad card on that one. And she just, this past weekend, she had Jamal James ahead in the card versus Butev. So yeah, so she sucks at her job, but she's gonna be one of the judges.
Oh shit, she might be biased for Plant then, if that's the case. I said,
well, like I said, I think she's a horrible judge, and she's one of the judges.
They better not have the person that was doing Fox v Mastrade there.
Man, y'all just been cooking up, man. I'm on my way to the gym. Y'all want to wrap up or what?
Yeah, I'm at work right now, but I'm gonna get out of here.
It's your show. It's on you.
Yeah, it was a good show, man. We gonna have to keep on doing this because I feel like we got a real history making fight this weekend, and I'm still getting that good feeling, man. I think we're gonna have a good one. But on that note, shout out to everybody. Thank you, Ari, for tuning in, and my brother D Hive. It's all love at the end of the day. We just boxing fans talking boxing. But
like I said, we're not always going to agree on everything. We're not always going to agree on everything. But yeah, it's a great fight this weekend. It's going to be special, so it's going to be fun, and we'll see what happens.
I either got Plant by unanimous decision or split decision, or Canelo by robbery.
Yeah, but why you got to say by robbery though? Why can't
I don't think Canelo can outbox Plant, bro. I'm sorry, man. I don't think he can.
Well, he doesn't have to outbox him. He could just hurt him and knock him out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Seeing that Caleb Plant is a much bigger fighter, and Canelo doesn't have history of knocking much bigger fighters out besides trash cans, then yeah.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Right,
so we got to tune in.
Man. Blessings.
Thanks for having me on. Peace out, y'all.